Howdy folks, this is Rampage and we're here to talk about this week's episode of Impact from February 27th. So we had a really cool show tonight. Let's get this started. We started with Kurt Angle comes out to the ring. He calls out Bobby Lashley, wants to know why he didn't help him last week. Bobby Lashley says, hey, it's not my fight. And Kurt Angle wishes him well in his fight tonight, saying, hey, you know what? You don't help me, I'm not going to help you. You know the whole deal, BDC, 4-on-1, etc. BDC shows up, talks trash, say, hey, we're going to take your title. We know where this dialogue is. We've seen this over and over again. First match we have is ECIII and Tyrus versus Ken Anderson and Rockstar Spud. This is a pretty fun match. This was a lot of Ken Anderson and Tyrus going back and forth, and then Rockstar Spud basically coming in to get his comeuppances against ECIII. This went really well. It was a fun story. At the end, Anderson hits the low blow on Tyrus with the ref's back turn, and Rockstar Spud gets the pinfall on Tyrus. Cool match. I don't know where this is going at this point. No Andrews this week, so I don't know. They seem to be the pinnacle last week of, hey, we've got Rockstar Spud, we've got Mandrews, now Anderson's here. I was thinking we're getting a 3 versus 2 match coming up somewhere. But I don't know. We'll see. Then up next, we had Taryn Terrell call it Awesome Kong. Basically, you showed up last week, you attacked me, so she wants her return. She wants to basically show Kong she has no fear. Gail Kim at that point comes out, goes through the history of Gail Kim versus Kong, with basically Kim saying that her battle with Kong taking years off her career. We don't know what the final end result of all that's going to be. Do you think you're still up for it? Taryn says she is. Gail Kim takes off and Kong shows up. Taryn Terrell attacks her, forearms, drop kicks. No effect. Kong hits her with a massive clothesline, lays her out the implant buster. Then you see her sitting there holding the title up at the end. We hit a commercial break. Pretty cool stuff. I'm looking forward to Kong versus Terrell, but unless Taryn gets some sort of offense in at this point, I don't know what's going on. So it very well could be a very cool underdog story with Taryn Terrell versus Kong, sort of like Gail Kim was, but they're not giving us that so far. It's a lot of, can she make it? But we'll have to find out. We see Austin Aries backstage, and he basically has his briefcase with the whole, hey, you know what, maybe I should become champion tonight. Let me get my work clothes on. Pretty cool, but as soon as you start teasing hey, I'm going to cash in the briefcase, I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. After that, we have Angelina Love and Robbie E versus Brooke and Chris Melendez. Chris Melendez is the Army vet who lost his leg and trained with, I think it's Team 3D. Cool to see him out here, but this being his debut match, had nothing to do with him. Almost this entire match is Brooke trying to get her hands on Robbie E, and Robbie E being like, hey, I don't want none of this, and then Angelina Love using that distraction to basically beat down Brooke Adams. It was pretty good, though. The storyline flowed. Melendez just didn't need to be there, and him being there sort of hurt his debut in my eyes. At the end, we wind up with Brooke goes up to the top rope. Angelina Love tags in Robbie E. Robbie E basically pushes her off the top rope and then takes the pinfall on her himself. That wasn't supposed to happen. It's not an intergender match. It was a mixed tag match, which the commentators seemed to make pretty clear. So where's this going? Hopefully we get Brooke Adams versus Robbie E in the end. So, not bad. Next up we have Austin Aries comes out to the ring. The crowd's totally into him, basically chanting Aries, Aries. My favorite part is he looks out to the crowd like, hey, I've got a first name. And then you hear the crowd shifts from Aries to Austin Aries. Pretty cool, pretty cool. He basically keeps talking about the briefcase. Hey, maybe tonight's the night. Be a good night to end up being TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Samoa Joe comes out. He's like, you know what? I've got assassins I can snap on my fingertips and they just destroy you. And Aries sort of goes back and forth with him a bit, bringing up hey, you know what? Where's Samoa Joe we used to know? The Samoan submission machine. It basically baits Joe into a match at that point. Joe agrees to it, and then you see Aries dive on him. Basically out of the ring. We hit our commercial break, and we come back, and it's a killer match. These guys can go, and we know that. It ends up with Kenny King showing up with the briefcase, trying to distract Austin Aries. He fails, though. Austin Aries slams Joe into the briefcase that's holding Austin Aries, knocks him off the apron. And then Austin Aries hits the 450 splash. Pretty badass move for the win there. Post-match, however, we get the BDC shows up. Total beatdown. They pull off the table, lay him out on the table in the ring, and Loki hits the Way of the Warrior, that crazy double foot stomp, and the table doesn't break. That looked pretty vicious. At that point, Samoa Joe makes the quick save and hits the running, jumping senton on the table, puts him through it, ends the segment pretty nicely. So now we at least have, once again, I think this is 2 weeks in a row they've prevented Austin Aries from being able to cash in. So, pretty good match there. The next one up, we had Rampage Brown versus Naom Dar. And if you say, who's that? I did the same thing. But we're not, well, I'm not in the UK. And that's why I have no idea who these British boot camp people are. They had an okay match starting off. But shortly after they start going at it, Brown shows up, destroys both of them. We know why Bram's out there. He's still feuding with Magnus. But then Grado shows up, the guy from British Boot Camp who beat Al Snow last week. And he basically hits his sort of signature move, the Dusty Road sort of juking jive, bionic elbow, which gets blocked by Bram. Bram hits him with the implant DDT. And then proceeds to once again call out Magnus, like, very much like Bray Wyatt's doing with The Undertaker right now. That's kind of strange to see. After that, we have the actual MVP versus Lashley match. This is pretty cool. It was MVP and Lashley going at it. It was a lot of MVP countering Lashley's size with his knowledge of Lashley's moves. That was really pretty cool to see. And also the fact that they're pretty much the same size when it comes down to it. Sure, Lashley's bulkier, but MVP's actually a pretty big guy. A lot of back and forth in that match. Early on, Loki gets involved outside the ring and attacks Lashley in front of the ref. Ref kicks him out, ejects him from ringside. I'm not quite sure how this works because it's a no DQ match, but I guess the BDC is allowed to be at ringside as long as they're not interfering in matches. But no DQ. It just gotta roll with it because that's what they did. The rest of the BDC then is much more careful about their interferences. It's a lot of, hey, toss Lashley out of the ring. MVP distracts the ref. Hey, beat him down. It's Lashley overcoming the odds for a while. He finally hits the spear on MVP, but he spears him into the ref. At that point, Eric Young comes out with the chair. He attacks Lashley and then goes to pile drive him on top of the chair. But Robert Roode comes out. Bobby Roode comes in, attacks Eric Young, runs them both off. Gunner shows up as well. Gunner and Samoa Joe brawl off up the entrance ramp. That leaves Kenny King. Kenny King gets up on the turnbuckle, goes for a drop kick or some sort of flying move. Lashley catches him, lays him out, which allows MVP to hit the playmaker. Cool move to see. But at that point, goes for the pinfall and the ref's not there. MVP rolls out of the ring, grabs a chair, basically gets ready to hit Lashley, and Drew Galloway shows up. Yay! We like Drew. He showed up last week and we were all excited. This week he stops MVP from using the chair and sort of walks away. At that point, Lashley does succeed in beating MVP, retains his title. Pretty decent show overall. I don't know, the stories don't have me super invested at this point, but it's good, strong matches. Samoa Joe versus Aries was amazing. Awesome match there. The main event was great. I personally am just waiting for them to let Brooke and Robbie E go at it. I think that'd be really cool. She hit that wicked tornado DDT a few weeks ago on their race segment that they did. Pretty cool. What I think they really need at this point, though, is we need an authority figure on Impact Wrestling. Like, someone needs to be there that's like, hey, yes, you can have this match. No, you can't have this match. Hey, I'm enforcing these rules. Like, having the BDC out there and, like, running roughshod over everyone without a balancing force is really strange to watch. It doesn't quite sit right. Also, Lashley needs a mouthpiece. We need to get him a manager or something, because he needs a hype machine. Like, he's a big, intimidating guy in the ring, but he's just missing that last piece on the mic. Hopefully you guys like this video. Please like this video. If you have questions, comment. Please subscribe to my channel. You can also see my Twitter handle down below here. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and we'll see you next show.